Hey everybody, how's it going today? Hope you're having a great day. We are finishing up these set reviews. Today we have the Earth from the Opus 15 Crystal Dominion. There's a lot of really cool cards here. We're not going to waste any more time. But as always, thank you for watching, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy the show. First, we have Vanille. When Vanille enters the field, select one of the following two actions. Choose a dual forward, break it, and choose up to two forwards in your break zone and add them to your hand. So we like cards like these, right? It's kind of effectively a 2-drop. You get 2 cards back. The earlier in the game, it's a little less important, especially now that this one has a second effect to break a dual forward. I think I still kind of like Minfilia better than this one, but the double job and the category might fit into something a little bit later. 12 I don't think is that 12 or 13? 13 has never actually really had its time to shine, and so maybe in the future this will matter. As of right now, it's just a decent card. Scholar, another 11 backup, 2-drop Earth backup, which is nice. When Scholar enters the field, choose up to 1 card in your break zone, place it at the bottom of your deck, and put the top card of your deck into the break zone. Put Scholar in the break zone to shuffle your deck. Oh, I see. So eventually you can put 1 card in the bottom, and if you need to, for some reason, remove it from the bottom of the deck, you can just shuffle your deck. It's a free shuffle, which is interesting, right? We usually get the shuffles off the searches, but as more and more cards get reveal and put to the bottom, and this might actually be interesting one day. So not completely useless. Again, 2-drop Earth, which is nice, and then an 11, which is also nice. Gallif, when a forward damaged by Gallif is put from the field to the break zone on the same turn. When a forward damaged by Gallif is put from the field to the break zone on the same turn, gain a crystal. Gallif never really seems to get any action, and I have a weird feeling this one won't either. Alright, it's pretty simple. Straightforward card. Might be useful in the sealed, but as of right now, probably not. Gijuk, another Headhunter backup. When Gijuk enters the field, you may search for a job Headhunter other than card name Gijuk and add it to your hand. Put Gijuk into the break zone, choose a forward you control, place 2 bounty cutters on it. I think this one might be not the least useful one. Outside of the search, the other ones are pretty much the ones that benefit from like adding counters, and I think Gijuk might be a forward in his other versions. I don't honestly remember, but I think this might be the one you switch out for some of the old ones. I remember these Headhunters only have like 4 names plus the Lani, and this one's not really piquing my interest, so probably a skip there. This Gilgamesh we talked about in the spoiler video, but he's really good. So 3-drop, put Gilgamesh into the break zone, search for card name Gilgamesh of 5 or less, and play it onto the field. We have a bunch of Gilgameshes. If you've been playing with us for a long time, right? Like if you've been playing this for a long time, you have a collection of Gilgameshes, and they're just sitting in your there. But this card might open them up. When Gilgamesh put from the field in the break zone, choose a backup of 4 or more your opponent controls, break it, and at 5 damage. When Gilgamesh is put from the field in the break zone, choose a forward of cost 4 or more your opponent controls. So at 5 damage, when you use his effect, you'll bring out another Gilgamesh and break 2 things on the way out. Very nice. And the other cards, all the other Gilgameshes, I think they all do something, right? Like with the last lightning one that we got was a legendary. He breaks himself and brings out Enkidu, and then the old 2-drop one says the more Gilgameshes you have in your break zone, the stronger he gets and can attack multiple times. Something like that. But so he's gonna really push the Gilgamesh deck in a good direction, actually. And then Earth Lightning is already a decent combination. I don't think we've had anything really strong and relevant since Rampir, which was kind of mostly Earth Lightning with a few splashable things. But we have Regis and a bunch of other really cool cards for that from a lot of the 15 stuff. But being able to bring this one out, bring the other Gilgamesh, pop something else, then Regis, bring both Gilgameshes or one Gilgamesh and something else out. You can actually bring in the lightning one first, have him break something else, and then bring in this one, and he'll set up something else. So probably on that one. I think the timing might be weird, but yeah. In the Sith, discard 3. It's a backup 2-drop. You can tap and discard 3 cards, each of a different card type. Put Sith into the break zone and draw 4 cards. So each card type, forward, backup, monster, summon, right? I think when I talked about this the first time, or I thought about it, it's best going to be used in a summon deck. I mean, monster deck. The reason I say that is because oftentimes the monsters are pretty unique these days, and you kind of revolve around setting up for certain plays, right? You have minimal forwards and maximum of the most cards when you're searching for the combo pieces in there. And I think when you play a deck like that, something like this might be very useful. So that's the only time I see it. I like the effect. Probably will be very highly sought after in the sealed events and drafting, because you kind of want to, there's limited searching and limited combos. So Sith will obviously be one of those cards that lets you trade 3 of the crap cards in your hand for 3 of the good cards that you're searching for or waiting for. Sith, I love this art, by the way. This art is he's so adorable and cool at the same time. And I believe it comes in full art. When Sith enters the field, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, add a forward among them and to your hand, and return the other cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. Pretty straightforward 1-drop. Heavy forward deck seems like a good idea. Obviously, we're always moving into a meta where in deck construction we're having more forwards, 25 to 30, and lower summons and backup counts. Backups are pretty much down to between 10 and 14 now, on average, I think. Some decks even with 5 or less, so just insane. Kefka, EX Burst, 4-drop 8k. When Kefka enters the field, gain a crystal. Nice. 3 crystals, divide all the forwards your opponent controls into 3 groups. You can make one group of 0 forwards. Your opponent selects one group among them and put all the forwards of the other groups into the break zone. I see. So you're pretty much your opponent keeps one group, right? And that's such a weird card, but yeah, that's interesting. Probably one of the better uses of the crystals, I think. Is it abusable? Maybe, maybe not. The real question is, I guess I'd have to get into a scenario where dividing the forwards is, and it really just depends what's on the field, right? You have to decide on what's the optimal way for your opponent to choose, and obviously give them one of those fork choices, right? Like when you put your knight in between 2 key pieces, like either your bishop or your rook, that's kind of the setup there that you're going for. Stuff like that. So it might be playable. I'm sure some of the 6 fans will definitely get into it. Kefka's always got so many strong cards, potentially strong cards that I wish we'd see more play. I'm still a big fan of Opus 1, like backup Kefka. I think a little less now with cards like Stern, but it used to be one of my favorites. Sid, Sophia, 2-drop Earth backup. Man, Earth got a lot of cheap backups this set. Choose a forward. Engineer. Choose a forward choose one forward and one other forward. Until the end of the turn, the former loses haste for Strike and Brave, and the latter gains all the abilities lost by the previous effect until the end of the turn. Oh, I absolutely love this card. So outside of being an engineer, obviously we don't want to just shove it in an engineer deck, but this being able to steal keywords, and I mean honestly steal the keywords and give them to another forward is absurdly great, right? So couple things. You're in battle, you have X forwards with haste and first strike or whatever, and then you'll have them swing out first. Then you can swap it to your other guys that don't have it, that benefit from something else, right? Let's say Yuna, for example, right? You drop Yuna this turn, and you need her to do something. 3-drop legendary Yuna, by the way, box topper, I think 3 sets ago. You don't necessarily get the draw 2 this turn, but you need her, she's your out or whatever to remove something, right? So have your other guys attack and then steal haste from something of yours or your opponent's, give it to her, and then she parties with something else if you still have forwards available, right? That's just one idea. Then there's your opponent having the ability to close out the games for you, right? Close out the games on you, I mean. And they went for a big play, let's say even Turks, right? Stuff like the Turks, or what do you call them, the Avalanche, which is something we've all seen recently. Just say, no, I'm going to take, what's her name's, Jesse's or whatever, and she's not going to be able to attack to bring out a Cloud this turn. Or, whatever, or when the stupid Cloud comes in and gives everyone haste, you're like, nah, I'm going to take that, right? And then the first strike thing, and really any of these just lets you, there's so many scenarios that you can use this card for. I think it's going to be great. Now, is it going to be abusable in an engineer deck? I think the engineer deck will finally even out into wind and earth with this guy. That just kind of balances the cards. And we already, it's funny, I wish I had shared the engineer deck we built a little while ago, but maybe we'll be able to update it now and use the thumbnail I created a long time ago for it. So this card is really good. Cecil. When Cecil enters the field, if you don't pay a crystal, Cecil deals you 1 point of damage. When Cecil is put from the field in the break zone, you may search for a card named Cecil and play it onto the field. And Soul Eater. Until the end of the turn, Cecil gains 2,000 power first strike, and if Cecil deals damage to your opponent, that damage becomes 0. I'm sorry, that damage becomes 2 instead. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Oh, that second effect is really nice, actually. I mean, that S ability is really nice. Yeah, being able to replay itself at 3 damage is obviously very good. We have so many Cecils, right? So he can effectively turn from a Dark Knight to Paladin in the middle of this match, and then or you could bring him out and then use the Paladin versions of him to cast Soul Eater. So that's such an interesting card. Very strong. 3/9, not even colorless. It's just the crystal effect, right? You need to pay a crystal to keep him, and when you bring out another version of him, it's obviously you're gonna need to pay another crystal or take another point damage. So it is a costly effect, but if you're able to get this effect on, dealing 2 points damage sometimes is with 1 forward, Arc, what's his name, right? The 11 card, when he attacks and if he hits you, deals 2 points damage. Those cards are really great, and this guy's a little bit better because he has a lot of options. So I think it might see play. I don't think we're gonna get a Dark Knight deck anytime soon, but this might be a good start. Zombie. When Zombie enters the field, choose a forward of cost 1 in your break zone and add it to your hand. And then it becomes a forward and dies at the end of the turn. We've gotten a lot of cool 1-drops over the last few sets, so might see some play. Reprint, one of the old best EX burst cards. This one I saw when it was one of the first cards that caught my eye when I was looking through Earth. Before paying Titan, you can pay a crystal to reduce the cost, which is always nice. You choose a forward, it gains 10,000 power until the end of the turn, and then choose a forward, deal at 7. Just the fact that it gains 10,000, it doesn't put its power at 10,000, which was what I thought what it would be like. But no, gaining 10,000 is a big deal. Being able to block a multiple amount of times in one turn, or have it eat up a lot of damage, or just make sure you're so safe over something that no matter what your opponent has to do to deal with that forward, this is ultimate protection. This is almost as good as the ones that say dull it and then they can't be broken, right? Because it is very hard to deal 17,000 damage, sorry. But this card is ridiculous. This is pretty much a save a card for a turn, or pretty much 3 CP for whatever amount your opponent ends up having to cast or do to solve the situation you put in front of them. So very, very, very strong summon. I love it a lot. When Dataluma is dealt, new Dataluma. Isn't this the same art? Bro, guys, stop being lazy out there. When Dataluma is, I think the other one's just zoomed in more, right? When Dataluma is dealt damage by a forward your opponent controls, choose up to 1 forward your opponent controls, deal 8k. Dataluma gains 2,000 power and break. It's not going to be as good as the old one. Martial artist, not even monk, so get out of here. Yeah, we're good. We can pass on this guy. Another Berserker. Berserker must attack once per turn if possible. When a Berserker attacks, it gains 5,000 power until the end of the turn. Yeah, I wish it would say must attack and has 2 attacks. And then this effect should be once per turn also. That's weird, but whatever. I guess it's not a bad card. In limited, it's going to be really nice, right? Must attack once per turn if possible. And then when it attacks, so it's a 4-drop 13. Seems really good. When Backgammon, here's the big guy, right? The main one. When Backgammon or Jobhead enters the field, place a bounty counter on Backgammon. Remove a bounty counter from your character. Choose a forward. It gains 2,000 power until the end of the turn. And then remove 4 bounty counters from any number of characters. Choose a dull character. Alright, so as long as there's... the problem again is the tapping ability, right? You will be able to, only do this once, and the other one can keep things alive. So he's probably, obviously, he's very, you have to keep him and not use the other ones, but I don't know. I'm not sold on that. Maybe if we test it and we see it, it's obviously in the right colors, right? Fire and Earth, the strongest colors we have currently, but the cards aren't up to par with what we deal with already, so. Geomancer, you generic gain a crystal, and then choose a forward, it gains brave until the end of the turn. Solid, normal effect. It's fine. It's a defined card. Decent. Another Furion, which is interesting. Warrior Rebel. If you control job Rebel other than Furion, Furion gains 1000 power and brave. Yeah, I'm never going to play this because the 3-drop legendary is so much better. So, get lost. Hecaton Chair. You can only cast Hecaton Chair during your turn, deals 8000 damage to all forwards. I don't think Earth needed another kind of pseudo removal, like a board wipe. But the only, really right off the top of my head, I'm thinking the old Shantoto. I think it's at 9k, 6-drop legendary, so when it gets dealt damage, it shoots its damage to everything else, and then they remove it from play. It just deals a massive amount of damage to the board. But either way, on its own, it will be helping a lot of things. It's another way to safely, cheaper way, I think, safely to clear boards and stuff from weaker things. So, it's a good card. We'll definitely see play. Man, it just started raining here, guys. Yuck. I'm so tired of the rain right now. If Rydia is dealt damage by your opponent's summons or abilities, that damage becomes 0. This is a legendary. When Rydia or a category 4 character hits the field, place 2 growth counters on Rydia. Cast 1 summon of cost equal or less than the number of growth counters placed on Rydia from your hand without paying the cost. You can only use this ability once per turn. Phenomenal card, very, very, very abusable. Starts off with 2 counters pretty much. And right off the bat, you're able to cast pretty good amount of summons. I think, obviously, I'm gonna guess that it has to be the actual cost of the card, not a reduction cost of the card. So, that's usually how it works, right? Even if Yuna's out, if your summon is technically 2 cost, you still have to pay the full cost, or it will, you have to respectively pay the cost, right? And what I mean by that is that you cannot, cast a 2-drop for free if it is reduced. So it's fine. This card is really good. It's going to protect itself, can come out on turn 1, and then turn 2, it's just going to be even better. Probably will go in Water Earth. I might be playing this right away. The next legendary, Raboback, which was the first card of the week I think we saw. When he enters the field, you may pay 1 crystal. You so choose a forward or monster, break it. All with solid effect. And at the beginning of your main phase 1, during each of your turns, choose a backup in your break zone and add it to your hand. Just free CP, extra CP is always great. Really good card. Will definitely be full art, I believe. So good luck getting your hands on them. Black Mage, Warlock, Warlord, and 11. Fantastic card. We have the starter cards. I don't think I need to go over these with you guys. You guys have pretty much abused the hell out of them already and seen what they can do. They've been playing them for a few weeks now. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up here. Best thoughts are obviously the legendaries are some of the stronger ones in the set altogether. So it's no doubt that Earth will stay relevant for a long time. Follow-ups are going to be the summons. Titan is, I think, the greatest card. And Hecaton Chair is a really good card. And lastly is the Gilgamesh and Sid for me. And with a weird underlying honorable mention might be Berserker, right? I don't know if I'm just reading it wrong. When Berserker attacks, gains 5000 power until the end of the turn. Seems fine to me. It's just playing him, which seems pointless, right? He's 4, and you have to wait till he attacks. But yeah, those are the ones I like. Which ones are your favorite, guys? I'll take any, even these, if you really enjoyed them. Hoping you'll catch me for the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll see you later.